was on the BBC this week, I lost my microphone in my hair.
Really?
Yeah. They were like, this doesn't happen a lot. I was like, I have a lot of hair. It was like in here somewhere and it's clear. And they were looking and I was looking and I was like, you're going to have to try and find it. And we found it at the end. So then I needed to tape a lot.
I saw their
advert, shampoo.
Yeah.
Thickener.
Yeah.
I saw they did a reel of like all the like people presenting and their drinks.
I
didn't know if it was on the day that you were in, and I was like waiting for you to come up and be like, a tea with literally no milk.
Is that a coffee or a tea?
I made my own recently just because you know what I'm like with my tea specific, and if it's too much milk it goes down the drain. But when you're stuck on TV, on live TV, 1.3 million people, and you don't like the brew you've got, like
you just don't drink
taking
it.
a sip like
you're dying with a cough, you're like, nope, not touching my mouth.
We have a lot of different tea style drinkers in Financielle HQ.
Yeah,
Lydia is a cup of milk kind of gal with Lucy or Milky Brew. Your herbal princess.
Not with
your
milk.
Cup of milk. No.
No.
And
God,
you and
let's
I
try
are
it.
proper builders brews. Yorkshire tea, hardly any milk. Just how it should be.
What about sugars?
No.
No.
No. Are you a milky tea and sugar gal?
I could be.
Oh.
Yeah, the
I'm
sugar's
not
to
like-
distract from the awful taste of the milk.
Just milky,
If I
sugary
wanted
drink.
Milky Brew or just get a bowl of cereal.
Welcome to The Vault with Financielle. This is a safe space where we talk all things life and money and no topics are off limits. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and
No
good
idea
night.
what time it is, but hello everyone.
How are we doing today?
Fantastic. We're all in kind of like a monochrome, cream, black situation.
We always are. We have
I know.
no individuality.
No.
Or just like chameleons, you merge into everyone. And
Literally.
We all end up looking like each other. I'd love to look like Lucy. I'm going to stick with you.
when I was at the BBC this week, I was on and then I worked from there during the day because I had meetings in the city and got changed into like my black dress and my cream linen blazer, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, like you look really different." I was like, "This is what I look like.
This is me.
You put me in colour temporarily, and it's weird." And everyone in my life's like, "Oh wow, look at me. This is what I look like." And
All the
they were like,
presenters
"Good."
are always in colour, aren't they? So I bet when they go back, no one recognises them because they're always so like colourful, like
I
block
arrive
colours.
and I look like a member of the beautiful crew because I'm in my black leggings, my black hoodie, like all I need, because that's the crew will wear black so they don't get seen.
Oh, yes.
So I'm like, this is exactly what I like wearing. Can I swap places and wear this outfit? But yeah, fun fact, you wear
Someone's
colour.
asking will you go make me a brew? You're like, oh no, I work here. Like,
I would do it just to
I'm
give
the
them a strong brew.
Yeah. I'm actually the talent.
Actually kind of a big deal.
Okay. Speaking of work, I've got a controversial opinion. Everybody should do unpaid work.
oh,
Is this like character building thing?
tell me more.
Do you mean like
So I'm thinking
at a job?
start of your career, just started out, you want to get into an industry, maybe it is a creative industry. Doesn't pay amazing. A lot of opportunities come from volunteering, unpaid internships. What are we thinking about that?
I just think the Hills,
The Hill, you're going to have to...
Lauren
for all our-
Conrad, Teen Vogue, Olivia Palermo, she probably got paid. Not that she needed, she probably could afford not to be paid, but that type of, like I said, creative industry that's really competitive. Fashion. I did an internship, but it was paid because it was part of the university. It was a foundation degree. So one of the years you go and do, you work as a placement, a paid placement, but so many people, I imagine, would have done that year for free as well. If it was at a really prestigious fashion house in London or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
You hear people saying they go and move to London and they work for people for a year. And I feel like there was a big expose a few years ago in the press whereby they were finding out people working for big high designer brands like Couture, people just working for free. Everyone's fighting to get into that
Working
industry.
for free in London sounds like
Hell on
trenches.
It's so hard because I'm really conflicted because sometimes being able to do a little bit of work, and it's different if it's for a long period of time and you are grafting and delivering value to a business or a brand and you're not getting paid for it. If it's because you want to try it out, you want to learn a little bit more, you want to see if it's the right industry for you, and you kind of approach a business and say, like, would you mind if I came in this week and I'll help out a little bit, but the helping out is to learn, not because it's not you're short of staff. Oh, do you want to come in? I'm short of staff. You can learn a bit and I'm not going to pay you. If it's pushed from the individual and it's for a defined short period of time and there's nothing expected of you during that time, you're just there to sit and watch and learn. It can be really, really valuable. It can be. When it crosses the line into work, like proper work, and it's required and you're on a shift or you're running around after people for an extended period of time, that's not that. That should be paid.
I think that's what it is when it's hard because the lines get blurred because it's so competitive that employers can't help but take advantage because there's just so many people that are fighting for these internships, especially in prestigious careers, that the lines probably do get blurred from an employer perspective. Like Laura said, whereby if the person's saying, oh, I'd kind of just come and do a week's work experience, a bit of shadowing, that's very different to then an employer being like, can you come in next week? Can you do, like when it starts to taking the piss, basically.
I think bigger brands and bigger companies won't do it now. Like it's recognised that from an insurance point of view, from a health and safety point of view, from a wellbeing point of view, it's just like, oh, it's just not worth it. But I can imagine in smaller industries or businesses, it's like you look. We talked about it. Was it last week on Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders?
It's for the opportunity.
It's for the opportunity. Like you would do this for free because it's such a good opportunity. Like
I think it might be a millennial thing. Do you know, whereby Gen Zs we talk about are much more they respect themselves a little bit more. They stand up for anyone taking the mick. Like they're like, no, why would I do that? Yeah, that's a great opportunity, but I can go. I just felt there's an air of confidence in the younger generation whereby they won't take that kind of stuff lying down. Whereas I feel like millennials, it was kind of expected for us to do that. Like working life is very different.
We've spoken to other people who like employ the different generations, and it's a really fine balance between like presenteeism and staying late and actually not staying late. But I'm trying to think about what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say here is, I think there's a danger that you make over delivery and working hard and going above and beyond and doing things that you don't get paid for sometimes as a bad thing. Some of my best years when I was learning as a lawyer was out of hours. It was doing photocopying, but you were listening and learning and you were tired and you were waiting for a fax to come in about whether a deal would complete or not. You were sent across town to go get a signature from someone and come back. You went to make the drinks for everyone. Like
that's when you find out if you really want to do that job as well. You don't just get the good bits of the job because career's a long time. So you have to experience all elements of it to know whether you're truly in the right place.
And just then technically those bits aren't paid.
Yeah.
You know, can you come in and help on a Saturday? You know,
we've got a big deal on, let's get over the table.
And you don't go, do I get paid for it? You just like, it's kind of part of the deal, but that's on top of a paid environment. So I do think there's a bit of a change in the amount of work ethic that we see in the media. We see on TikTok and we see from
LinkedIn, love it.
Oh yeah.
There's always a LinkedIn post from a lawyer.
But I love the respect on the other side of your own time and your own space, and you know, that I'm not doing work for free for you all the time. Like, you know, that you pay, if you want me to do that, you'll pay me for it. I love that.
Yeah. I think it's an individual situation. It just genuinely does depend on the context.
The hard thing, and you said this earlier, Holly, where things are competitive, is so much about employment is network, right? And for those people that do not come from a strong, if you want to get into finance and you know no one in finance, it is all Nepo babies. It's all the sons and daughters of this and that.
Privately educated.
Private education, golf clubs, you know, my whole families are all friends. We all holiday together. So it's really, really difficult when if you're not from that environment. If you get the opportunity to do some unpaid work for a big brand that you would love to work for and you impress, that sets you up for life. Mm-hmm. So I don't want, it's really hard to say to someone, you should be like, oh, you shouldn't do it unless you get paid. That, as long as they're not being taken advantage of like massively, I would advise someone do that. I would. It's like, I'm so conflicted with this answer because I'm like changing my mind every minute.
Unpaid internships are really for like quite privileged, aren't they? If you work in those, like if you live, in Yeah, and you're like, oh, my dad will give you like an internship, and you're like, oh yeah, you can see those people be like, what a great opportunity. Of course I'm going to do that. There's normal people that cannot afford to do that. They can't, they have to pay the bills. They won't be able to afford to get to it in the first place, to travel. Where would they stay? Like,
that's an additional level of privilege, isn't it?
Yeah, to do unpaid internships.
Especially for an extended period. For an extended period. Summer or for, yeah, I know a lot of the law firms, accounting firms, they're paid summer placements, and they're very, very careful and particular about it. But if someone, if you listen to this and you want to do a bit of unpaid work to get your foot in the door somewhere, as long as you look after yourself and understand what it's about learning whether you like that career or not, having a feel for the job, and hopefully meeting people. Because once you've met people, you're in that circle. Yeah,
and give yourself a deadline. Don't let it keep getting extended. Be like, I'm going to do it for, how long you can afford to do it for, but don't be taken advantage of.
I think on TikTok, I see a lot of people, and it's a lot of like freelancers who kind of market to get people to be more freelancers. Sometimes I think they go too far. This might be controversial, but I think they go too far, and it's like never work for free and like never do a task, like an unpaid task that you might not get a job for. But if you flip that round and you were going for like a full-time job interview and it's like, yeah, we've got a task, we need you to go through this, and this, you wouldn't bat an eyelid at that. No. But for a freelance, I get that obviously you're not getting paid for that time, but it's the same in an interview process.
Yeah. There's a balance between respecting yourself and not being taken advantage of, but also sometimes you've got to, and if you've got give a little to make
about
a little.
2 things in your portfolio, of course they don't know what it's a risk for the brand.
Yeah.
There's and like this is true in life and with customers and with business. I mean, Gary Vee talks about, is it jab, 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 right hook? Mm-hmm. And it's like you give, then you go for the punch, and it's because sometimes that's what it takes. And like you said, respect yourself, know why you're doing it, know the boundaries. But if that can get you into a really impressive door, who am I to say you shouldn't do it? But like for the brands that do provide unpaid internships for extended period of time, shame on you. Yeah. Because that's labor and it's work, and you should be paying people appropriately for it. And you absolutely can afford it. Like even like a token minimum wage or living wage, for if they're doing the right amount of work and they're delivering, then just pay them.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Okay, dilemma number 1. My husband wants to relocate for a new career. Hi guys, my husband has recently received an incredible job offer that requires him to relocate to another city. This opportunity comes with a significant pay rise and the potential for an amazing career advancement, which initially felt like a relief after being the main breadwinner for the last few years. Not that he's ever made me feel pressured, but I put a lot of pressure on myself to earn as much as possible. I'm deeply rooted in our current city, Edinburgh, with a stable and fulfilling career that I've worked hard to build. My job provides a good income and good benefits, which contribute significantly to our household finances. We're currently renting, but have been able to put away money to buy a house, which we are planning on doing in the next year. The cost of living in the new city, London, is much higher, and I'm concerned about the financial impact it can have if I can't find a comparable job quickly. Side note, there is no way I can work remotely, unfortunately. We currently have a comfortable lifestyle with savings, no debt, and obviously our plans to buy a home. The move would mean potentially delaying our plans due to the higher living expenses and the uncertainty of my job situation. My partner is so excited about the move and sees it as a necessary step for his career. He's hopeful that I can find new opportunities in a new city. But the job market is super competitive, and I worry that the strain of relying on one income is in such an expensive place, even if it's just temporary. We've considered compromises like maintaining long-distance relationship for a while with him commuting back on weekends, but these solutions seem expensive and unsustainable. I fear that choosing to stay might drive a wedge between us, while choosing to go might lead to money stress and resentment. How would you navigate this? Is there a way to balance his career aspirations with our financial stability and my need for a secure income? I'm torn between supporting his dreams and preserving our financial health. What should we do to find a path that works for both of us?
Ooh, it's like a rom-com.
Yeah, it is. This could be a movie.
Okay, first, who's playing who?
Yeah. J-Lo came to mind.
J-Lo. I mean,
in J-Lo in Edinburgh.
I love Edinburgh as well.
I know. Stay in Edinburgh.
Stay in Edinburgh. Done. Move on. Next one.
No offense, London.
Stay in Edinburgh. Joking. Jump back up.
I wonder what the job is.
Yeah, she can't work remotely, so it's obviously something that she's got
Yeah.
to do in person. Oh, it's a tough one.
And then vice versa, like his job, it's a one heck of a train journey, yes, but so many roles in London now are hybrid that even budgeting 1 day a week train fare, and it's a really long day.
Can we just talk about the price of the train fare?
But from Scotland, it's not as bad. It's really annoying.
We literally live 1 hour
it is still
and
bad.
50 minutes, Warrington Bank Quay to London Euston. How much was the last train journey that we went on? Like £500?
It was over 4.
For not 7 hours in London and back again.
It was off peak, and people were really annoying on the train because they were really
was
annoying
tired.
us. She was tired. And then we weren't in a quiet carriage, and we definitely weren't in standard premium or anything. Oh, first.
And then we went up to Edinburgh, first class.
We had a great time first class
Hot
to
meal.
Edinburgh. This lady came and literally comes through the kitchen and brings you a hot meal.
Like Hogwarts.
We'll cuddle with. I mean,
No
the first thing that came to
Sweet
mind.
trolley.
There's no
Anything from the
chocolate
trolley,
frogs.
There was wine in a can. I had mine and Holly's. She was driving the other end. Yeah, we liked to train to
Liberty.
Edinburgh, so stay in Edinburgh.
Everything's sorry, we're all northern here. We're all going to point.
Have you seen that compilation? I think it's on Corrie, and it's all like all the time someone's mentioned London, they all go, London?
Yes, I have seen
What do you
that.
want to go there for?
I think when Katie Thistleton moved to London for Radio 1, everyone kept sending it to her. And she was like, everyone stop sending me the Corrie meme. I know.
Yeah. You can't get gravy. So it's a no.
I like going to London, but I
love
certainly
London.
feel for all you guys that live and pay to live in
Yeah.
London. It is a treat, that kind of math equation. So I'd be really interested to know whether there's any level of hybrid for him, because it's much more accessible now for the city of London. Lots of people are popping in for 1 day a week, work from home the rest of the time. So if that's not possible for her, then maybe it's something that can be explored. It's a real crunch time in the relationship. What I found, and I think Michelle Obama talked about this really well with her and Barack when she was like a leading partner in a Chicago law firm. She happened to be married to a senator. He then obviously made his way forward and became president, and she had to give up her career. But she talks about like it's never equal. There's always going to be times when sacrifices need to be made. Lots of people do it if their partner has the higher income job and it demands a city move, and that's what we've talked about in this episode. It could be like we've had a friend who we've got friends, and one of them played sport, and so they were both our friends, but the woman had to travel around the country, move home away from
Put things
family,
on
be on her
pause,
own.
raise the children.
Yeah, put whatever she wanted to do on pause, but it was a timing thing, and I'm sure it's gone back the other way now, and I'm sure it's all her fun time. But there's just going to be times where you have to have those chats, and that doesn't mean to say that they have to sit down and go, okay, well, what our life, because it's a big thing to up and move your life. They've not got a house yet, and sometimes like time moves really quick. So delaying something for a period of time, if she's up for pausing her job, moving job, getting a new job, because she sounds like she's just stressed about the one income thing, not that she's not, I love my job and I really don't want to leave it. So that could be a nice new adventure for her. It might not be that she walks into the same salary of job, but if his is that good and such a good opportunity, she could take a different job for a couple of years. But again, put that, like, let's assess it. Let's do it for a year. Let's give it a year, and then let's see how we feel. At least they've not got roots in either place.
I like that idea of giving it a deadline and be like, okay, let's give it 1.5 years in London. You can establish your career, and then you could take that back to Edinburgh if you still want to move back there, buy a house. You've got that experience in London. You'll probably walk into a job if you're like...
Got that experience.
Yeah.
The key will be if the career is something that can come away again. Because imagine... I'm going to doomsday here, so sorry, listener, because I know you've written in, but imagine if you move. Oh my God, it's just like off Sex and the City when she moves for Jarrett, like for Smith. She goes, I did all this for a man.
Oh yeah,
I made sushi.
I thought you were talking about when she goes to Paris for the
She
Russian,
does that as well, yeah.
for the
No,
Russian
for
guy.
Alexander. No, it's when she moves to California and puts her career on hold and moves across the way from all her friends and all her family and goes,
She's just resentful in the end.
She's resentful. And so, but imagine if he then doesn't want to move back and she does. Like it's accepting that it's all scary. What you don't have regrets. So you don't want to, him be 10 years on and you've got kids and you've got a house that you own and you wish you'd have gone to London. So that could be a nice little thing. But again, defined period of time. But the danger is you might both end up liking it, and it's not the danger. The danger is one of you might not like it, but you just have to have those conversations where you go, is this really what you want to do? Because if you really want to do it, I will support you on the understanding that there's risks involved in moving you home, leaving your job. But then big city, like it could be fun.
It could be fun.
amazing.
If you start off with a deadline, you can't always plan whatever. But having a fun year in the city before you settle down and buy a house.
Yeah, make a list of the things that you could do while you're there.
If you were ever going to do it at any point in your life, it's going to be now.
Yeah.
It is a now or never kind of, I would say. I don't like it when people say that, but realistically, you've not bought a house, you don't have children, like now.
You've got the pot of money for the house already saved up.
Yeah, you've done so well.
That doesn't need to be touched.
No. Well, it might do in London.
True. In 1 month's rent.
So the house is off the table.
Oh, let us know what you do. Let us know what you do. And would love to hear, maybe come to the community guys in the app and we'll put this in there. Tell us what you would do. What advice do you have for this listener? Because this is so sensitive. And some people might have some amazing success stories of, we did this, we moved, it was the best thing we did, we then stayed there. Or it might be, we didn't go, we regretted it, or whatever.
You can always come back if it doesn't work out.
You can always come back.
Yeah.
Either alone or together.
Let us know.
There's no place like home.
So true, as they say. Okay, time for a nice community win. Thanks to Financielle and the encouragement of this community, I've just paid off £7,600 loan to my parents for a new car. And it only took a year.
Oh yes, nice one.
Oh, your parents will be so proud. To be nice enough and kind enough to lend it you in the first place, like, is such a big thing for families. Imagine how proud you'd be as a parent.
That last payment when you paid it to your mum and dad.
If you slide it across the table going,
I've done
there
it.
you go, that's it.
Yeah. What a ledge.
That's
really
iconic.
good.
Well done.
Fun. If you'd like to tell us your win, head to the community in the app or email it to thevault@financielle.com. It's time.
Oh God, I know it's going to be me.
Is that because, I was 2 weeks ago and then Lydia,
Lydia's
you had
last
to do
week.
last week, didn't you? Yours was really good, I remember.
Holly.
Right, so obviously it's going to be a 5-star.
Okay.
And my
Hang on.
Sorry, go on.
Oh,
ask the
yeah,
question.
sorry, I
Yes,
need
ask
to-
it.
It's
I
because
need
I'm
to-
so scared.
She's been preparing this.
Pressure's getting to you.
The pressure is getting worse.
So we would love it if you could give our little podcast a review. 5 stars. Again, preferable. If it's any lower, don't review.
Don't bother.
And I'm going to pick on Holly. What would you give a review?
I would give a strong 5-star. Chic presenter, chic guests,
Chic
We're the
sofa.
guests. Chic sofa.
We were guests to be here every week.
We're replaceable, let's be honest. 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10.
God, the pressure is absolutely got to her.
2.5 stars.
She's crumbling.
It's a 5-star review, but a 10 out of 10 pod.
Just about salvaged.
Never ask me again.
The pressure's got
You're a
to me.
troll.
I told you, off the cuff I'm fine, but like to present something, 5 out of 5. Can't live without. That's what I'd write.
Adding things on.
I'm going to type this all out and then put it on the Instagram.
Amen.
Vote for
Amen.
Vote for Holly.
Okay. I'm receiving a large sum of money and I don't know what to do. Hi, I'm looking for some advice as I'm really stuck on what to do for the best. I'm receiving a large sum of money imminently, 20k. I'm currently on universal credit. I'm a single mum to 2 kids, but I feel like once I've declared this money to the DWP, they will just stop my claim and I'll be left to manage my money on my own. What's the DWP?
Department of Work and Pensions.
Okay. I was torn between applying for shared ownership to get on the property ladder, but now feel differently about this. I'm privately renting and my rent is quite low, fortunately, and I have a good landlord. I have a housing benefit overpayment of £8,500, which I'm torn between paying it all off or only paying a third off, as I feel I could use this money for savings and other goals, etc. I have set up a standing order of £100 per month with my local council, and this is 0% interest, so I feel like I could increase this monthly payment to get it down quicker. My children need new mattresses, and I'd like to get passports for myself and my son, and maybe treat us to a few things that we wouldn't otherwise be able to afford. So I will probably have £15,000 left once that's all done. I don't want to waste this money as I won't get it again, but I also want to be 100% debt-free, so I'm struggling on what to do for the best. As much as I would love to be the master of my own destiny with money, I will struggle each month without the UC payments, and I don't want to use this money for groceries or bills, which is what will happen if my claim is stopped. I also have £2,000 credit card debt, which will be paid off straight away, and I will pay off my phone debt. I also intend to pay off the rest of this year's household bills and save the amount for next year, in a separate account to use for next year's bills. Any advice, welcome, and thank you in advance.
There's so many technicalities with this one because we're talking about universal credit. And so I guess I want to caveat that with everyone's different. They've got different personal circumstances. If you've never had universal credit before, you might not understand what it's like to have to rely on it. If you do have it, you might have some nuances and some extra benefits and stuff. So this is going to be a generic answer. I know she's got a very specific question. And, you know, however you came into that money, it's a really good opportunity to use it in the way that you're saying, which is to do better for you and your family. And unfortunately, when, you know, or fortunately, when you do come into money like that, benefits are meant to be reduced. It's not meant to be a penalty. And I know what you want more than anything is to like have the savings, and you don't want to blow it on like, you know, a cruise. You know, you want to feel stable, you want to feel supported, you want to have some money in your back pocket and then still have universal credit income. And honestly, that should be commended. I feel like we should call that out because you don't want stuff, you want security. And that's, I wish there was a space where people could have emergency savings, not as much as that, but some emergency savings and income. And now with the universal credit, you can have that. So what you're talking about doing is paying off your debt. And again, completely personal. The way I'm going to answer this, and you do the same, Holly, is like, what would you do? Because it's so different. I would want to pay it off. I would want to, it's there, it's not going anywhere. It sounds like your income levels are not typically high. You're not going to have an opportunity again to pay off so much at once. So I would want to clear the credit card. I would want to clear the housing overpayment. And I would want to commit to myself that I'm never going to go into debt ever again. You've talked about a couple of items that you might need as a family, whether it's some mattresses and maybe a little bit of enjoyment. I think what I would say is do not treat this like a lottery win. Like this is a chance to treat it like any other money that's coming into the house. It's not special. It's not a gift. It's not something to be blown. It's something to be put into a plan that you would have done anyway. You've just got it a lot quicker. And you may find, but I would recommend speaking to sisters advice, if you send the money to these responsible things, and you, like you say, you don't want to use it for bills and stuff. No, you do, because it's income. Like it's not meant to be. Don't think that because you get a gift or a bestowed or anything like that it has to go to something fancy or impressive. Real life is about nailing the like basic payments. She may find, and speak to sisters advice about it, that it's legitimate spending. So paying off the debt and like buying like some basic stuff like mattresses and not blowing it can be reflective of responsible spending. And she might drop into the threshold where her savings are definitely below 16, but even close to the 6. And if they're close to the 6, you can reapply for universal credit. And if you can document and evidence everything that you spent it on, prove that you were paying down debt, prove that you were looking after your family, you could end up in a position where you become debt free. You have a small amount of emergency savings. You can reapply for universal credit and start on the path to building momentum, not having those debt payments, not having that stress. And if you can't reapply for universal credit for a period of time, if you are precluded from doing that, at least you do have savings to rely on, and that's what they're for. You know, we can't double benefit, if you will. That the point of benefits is to help
dipping,
us,
isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think my view would be to think a bit bigger. Like, do you want to be on universal credit for the rest of your life? It's a very privileged position for me to say, do you want to be on universal credit for the rest of your life? I'm not saying it in that respect. I'm saying it in there is a chance here for you to build some really strong financial foundations with some of the tips that Laura's just said. We can workshop it. You're paying £100 overpayment on this debt that you need to pay off. Clear that debt. That's £100 back in your expenses every single month that you've got to
credit
work
card
with.
as well. Credit card minimum payment
£2,000 debt gone. The minimum credit card payments go. Phone bill gone. Another, it could be £50 a month. I don't know, just a guess.
That could be like 10, 15.
That could be £200 a month going back to you. That's your money that's for you to do what you want to do with every single month. And when I say that, do you want to be on universal credit for the rest of your life? This is just, see it as a really good opportunity to get ahead. Well, like Laura said, it could have taken years to get into this position. You're given a bit of a fast pass. Yes. Not many people get this.
Like a fast pass.
It's giving Disney.
It's like passing go and collecting £200.
Yes, but use it wisely. Don't buy, like, I don't know, what can you buy?
Yeah, and do you know what? Again, privileged position, but don't feel that this is you need to treat the children and treat you. Don't, like, treats can come in lots of different forms. A treat can be a chilled out mum that isn't stressed about money. Yeah. It can be, you know, a takeaway, and it doesn't need to be gifts and stuff.
You can treat yourself every month if you do a budget properly. You've just got yourself 200 by doing all that. You've just freed up £200 a month. You should have treats every single month. Work it into the budget. It doesn't have to be a bougie. I know so many people that have had a lottery win or an inheritance gain,
house sale.
They've just, you ask them what they bought with it, they can't tell you. No. They're like, I literally couldn't tell you. And it's such a waste. Imagine being debt-free, being in a really good situation and having excess cash every single month for you to decide what to do for you and your children. It's a great opportunity. And people would, you know, fight for the chance to kind of get ahead and do that. It's really exciting that you've got this opportunity.
And I feel like this is such a typical question that we get, which is overwhelmed. There's too many options. Yeah. Like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And suddenly you're given this opportunity with some money, and it's a really good time to slow down, pretend it's just normal income. It's got an extra zero on the end and it feels a bit big. Let's pretend it's small and go, what do we want? Okay, you said you want to be debt free. You said there's a couple of emergency things that you really want to get for the family. You've said that you want to be able to get ahead on sinking funds and bills, and that's a really good space to be. And again, these are normal things. So I would make a list one at a time, tick them off, and build that mini plan for you. And you get to a point where you look at it and go, yeah, that makes sense. Run it by someone at Citizens Advice or the Department of Work and Pensions and go, look, this is what my plan is. Because you're declaring it, you're sharing it, you're going to be very honest and transparent. This is what my plan is. Once I've done this, is there an opportunity to reapply for universal credit for whatever period of time that is? Like I said, we don't know her situation. We don't know if she's off work.
She could be off it for years.
She might never need to go on it again. Yeah. Or she may need to go on it, whether the children's of a certain age or whatever it is. But like Holly said, it's a fast pass, and it's going to be really exciting to see what you do next.
It's that dopamine hit. She can either get a quick dopamine hit by buying some stuff that she wants, or she could have a really long-term dopamine hit for the next few years, whereby she'll
feel better,
feel financially well every single month. When expenditure comes in, when there's a fixed expense or a unprecedented bill that wasn't planned for, do you want to feel well every single month, or do you want to feel like just drop some cash here, one-time hit? I feel like I would want the long-term one.
Yeah,
I agree. After all that big answer, my point is, I agree. Any final words before we close the vault on this fine Thursday?
Not today.
No, thanks for sharing every week. Everyone's sharing the vulnerable kind of worries, questions, wins. It's what gives us, the chance to do this pod every week. So just thanks for messaging in with them and giving them to us.
That's all for this episode. The Vault is now closed. The Vault is just a chat around life and money topics, and we are not giving financial advice.